most of this stuff is like reruns of something I made in videos that I sent a box of to Japan a long time ago or something like that. But I still just feel like thinking about this stuff again for some reason, even though it has nothing to do with my life. Now, with the new era in politics coming up, Obama ending his term, it's like so many exciting opportunities are coming about. Like, okay, they're talking term limits for Congress and the Senate. Brilliant. That is a long time coming, that one. But, it's like when I think about stuff I've heard about again and again over the years, it's like, okay, first of all, farming isn't everything. There's also fishermen and miners and manufacturers and merchants. And, it seems like when economies fail to grow and fail to produce for the individual, it's always because they're cutting layers of participation off of the bottom, and usually trying to prop them up with outsiders or something. But anyway, the reason, I'm thinking about this is it seems like regulations are more allowed to interfere with farming than they are with mining. Again, this is a rerun, but from before, I'll say the reason is because more farmers are owners as well. The people doing the work are also the darn profit share owners. Whereas society is trying its good goddamnedest to serve people that own and do nothing else, at least in terms of the government. And I'd be real happy to see this trend ended, but where it relates to farmers in terms of regulations is, farmers are expected to maintain these unrealistic debt loads for the purpose of conforming to safety guidelines. Now, these debt loads they live under go up like inflation, and I think the reason is to keep them from ever cashing out in the black if they want to change jobs, and to consolidate their property into fewer and fewer hands of people that own giant parcels of land, a few thousand acres going over to a farm that owns a few million, that kind of thing. And I think that that's really what's breaking the middle class. That's putting a solid break on, service job creation by, taking it out of the hands of these farmers that are making it in the name of safety. Now, another crisis to this economy that's similar and yet different is medical malpractice insurance for doctors. It seems like a lot of their middle-class scale in terms of service jobs and stuff is absorbed in malpractice insurance, and there's got to be a way for the government to kind of step in and help with that. We don't want our kids to die of, some poisonous new aspirin a doctor recommended for a pharmaceutical company. But at the same time, I think that these doctors, it's like they should be able to defer that as a tax or something. We need to come up with a system that allows farmers to maintain higher profit margins, to make the safety these regulations are supposed to provide cheaper, to make the paperwork surrounding this safety, easier to do. The point is, these regulatory burdens are hurting an entire segment of the economy. And I think that the government should really care more about the little guy. It's like, again, that in the past, a lot of America's middle class has come from these farmers, from sea to shining sea. You look at New Mexico, and it's really, practically an apartheid. It's like half of the state is economic participants and half of the state is on welfare. And, well, that's like, I'm saying so because that's also, a huge agrarian state. And, well, when it comes to mining, I think holding up environmental technologies and calling them regulations. It's like when you say, well, this new regulation is going to, it's like regulators think about a guy with a clipboard. They don't think about some guy digging an extra ditch or some guy up on a tower installing a new scrubber on a power plant or something like that. But they really could and really should. I mean, money is about creating political will. Now, I'm not a damn Bernie Sanders commie, but I do respect the fact that the more agrarian a society is, the more communism they need, at least on a small scale, on a community scale, to organize themselves. Now, that's just as true for Asians as it is for Central Americans. I mean, you look around and, like I said, again, I want to find new and creative ways to bring California's economic success to the people south of the border. Now, again, California has a lot of farmers, it's got a lot of technologists, it has a lot of mining, but Mexico has equal potential for all of those things. And the real question becomes, why are the people of California so wealthy and the people of Mexico so poor? And why do Americans allow that to continue? Now, again, I hope that Trump will come up with policies that work for the common man. It's like I am strictly like a service industry bum. It's like, in terms of, like me making a living as a beggar, even my life would be improved, but again, I think that, here in California is where, I don't know, like I said, I think that Mexico has a lot of problems we as Americans need to take more of a proactive interest in, okay? That's all I'm saying. And again, like I said, I don't want to slap a carrot off the distributor's plate, but, there has to be a way that, it's like even the distributor, beyond his shareholders, is actually providing service. He's not owning for a living as a category, but like I said, there's got to be a way for, owners to have, better and more personalized ways to reinvest, okay? Because it's like, okay, you say, well, the stock market went up. It's like, those are a bunch of bean counters. Bean counters are not bean farmers, okay? The bean farmer deserves a better living than the bean counter, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not a bean farmer or a bean counter, so I'm not really qualified to offer my opinion. But honestly, I think that the owners and the man who owns things and counts beans for a living, his only claim to virtue or pretense to righteousness is the fact that when people get old, they need a method of investing in themselves whereby they don't have to depend on charity. And the owner's economy is a model of that system that really helps people to involve, the less fortunate in the things they need as they become wealthy in their old age. And, so like I said, that's kind of a model for everyone. Social Security can't do everything the way it's been expected to. And so, like I said, we need ways for owners to take a more proactive approach in making sure that with all the bean counting, the bean farmers are tended to. And in terms of medical malpractice insurance, I guess we need a federal system. Nobody is ever talking about federalizing that. There was something else I was going to say. Bean counter, bean farm. Shit, I've completely forgotten. It was probably really cool, though. And it's probably from before, like everything else I'm saying, but... Again, I think that... It's like, it keeps almost wanting to come back. Something about retirement, I don't know. Okay, I don't know everything, but I hope that Trump will actually embrace the notion that the ditch digger becoming more wealthy also makes the everyone else more wealthy, and in fact does better, but unfortunately that does not, if you say we live in a society where a ditch digger can pay his bills, then that does not continue to work for very long for anyone if the people hiring ditch diggers are allowed to drive the price down with foreigners. It's like, but at the same time, that's going in the wrong direction or approaching the problem from the wrong side. I want to see ditch diggers everywhere so well paid that there's no point in importing foreigners to do it. Like if Mexicans start showing up saying, well, you know what, I'm here to share the good life rather than to demand it. And you know what, I think that that could work. You know, I think that as long as we're trying to, well, like I said, to enrich people, it's like a straight A report card deserves some ice cream or something, you know what I mean? And, I have a lot of stuff to say about that too, but I suppose it can wait. You know, again, like I said, I don't know why I'm thinking about all this stuff so much here lately, because it really doesn't have much to do with my day-to-day life. But it is on my mind an awful lot. You know, it's like, okay, so how are we going to get people out of the mindset of saying, that's what I was going to say. It's like the government has us in there every year, anyone who drives a car, with emissions inspections. But if you say, put a Scrub-O-Max 5000 on a power plant, and that's a regulatory burden killing jobs. And it's like, I think that business owners on that scale, you know, industrial utility owners, should be expected to, you know, make the same effort that every little bullshit motorist has to, you know, where they say, is your catalytic converter right? Check or not. You know, just like we have to. Why can the government monitor 1 million catalytic converters but fails to, you know, require 10 of them on buildings? Anyway, like I said, I'm not trying to slap a carrot off of anybody's plate. I'm just trying to put more carrots, you know, like I said, I'm trying to explain to people that environmental rules aren't just regulations. They are people building products and digging ditches and such, etc. Anyway, that's really all for now.